All right, shalom, shalom. To the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. We're going to start off this lesson by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem. All right, double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone who rule well and have taught us this word in truth and sincerity. And peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, starting with 144,000. That's pushing this word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. All right. As well as the rest of the hopeful elect that sincerely believe. Peace and mercy to you and your household. All right. So in today's class, there's going to be another edition of News and Prophecy. And we're going to get into what's going on over there recently with Iran and Israel. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it's about time. It's about time Iran has finally, stood up for themselves. They've been, Israel's done lots of different things. They've been basically bullying Iran for a while. And what Iran did now is kind of just show the West and Israel that, if you mess with us, we will retaliate. Mm-hmm. The scriptures go into how the least of the flock should draw them out. Okay, it has to be understood that Israel wouldn't be doing all these things if they didn't have the backing of America. Okay, the military of America. So now, mind you, you're going to have Israelites that are going to see this and they're going to jump right to World War III and think that we're going to be out of here next week. But remember, the prophecy, this is just fairness and rumors of war. Okay, the major prophecy, it still has to be, and the major prophecy is the MOTB. Mm-hmm. That has to happen before we see World War III in full effect. But nevertheless, this is rumors of war and this is prophecy. That's what's happening. And we're going to bring it out and edify. Okay, so let's get this clip. I'll share my screen real quick. Okay. So the first clip here, this is from Redacted. Okay. And as you see, U.S. Marine Scott Ryder, as an American, I am scared over what's about to happen. Okay. So this one is precepts.
Is now coming out. If you read the mainstream media, though, the truth about Iran's attack on Israel is now coming out. If you read the mainstream media, though, Iran didn't even leave a scratch on Israel with the launch of hundreds of drones, dozens of cruise missiles. You might see headlines like this. Take a look. 99% of Iran's aerial threat shut down. But the truth is starting to come out despite a media blackout. You're not even allowed to enter into those areas to get photos or videos to share on social media. And the New York Times is now reporting that Israel is about to respond and launch an attack of its own against Iran within 48 hours. So a retaliation.
Slacky, I'm just actually going to, brothers on the comment board, brothers and sisters on the comment board, let me know if it's blurry and or if it's clear. Okay.
For a retaliation, I guess. Again, this is according to the New York Times. We want to bring in former U.S. Marine, UN Inspector Scott Ritter, who last week said this attack was about to happen, and you were correct. It did happen. And do you think, Scott, that we're going to see, first of all, we'll get into the details about the attack in just a moment, but do you think we're going to see an Israeli response here this war?
Fine, the water. Okay, it's clear. The water.
Cabinet being convened. What do you think the next 48 hours is going to look like?
I think what we're seeing right now is domestic Israeli politics at large. This has nothing to do with the security of Israel from a traditional standpoint. It has everything to do with the political survivability of Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister who oversaw, the greatest security failure in Israeli history on October 7th when Hamas attacked Israel, and now has presided over, what some people might even say is an even greater security failure, the inability of Israel to prevent Iran from reaching out and touching with ballistic missiles, a strategic defense sites that were protected by the best ballistic missile defense that Israel and American money could buy. So there's some posturing taking place right now.
Yeah, and that's true, right? Like what he's saying is true, because Israel is supposed to have the greatest missile defense system, and so what Iran just did basically, showed everybody that we can get it if we really wanted to. Okay, Israel's boasting the fact that 99% of infrastructure wasn't damaged and this, that, and the third, but what Iran did was just a warning. Okay, the Most High is storing up the kings of the nations, right, for World War III. So it's not going to get to the point where you're going to see nuclear missiles being dropped back and forth right now. But these nations are in the spirit of saying what? Let the weak say I'm strong. Let's get that precept. That's what you see happening, because Israel's been poking Iran in the chest for about 14 years, killing their scientists. Iran scientists. They've been backing terrorist attacks in Iran. So for the longest time, Iran's been basically bullied and pushed around by Israel, and now they've retaliated, man. Okay, let's get this week. Pull up the preset. Brothers know off deck that preset. Let the weak say I'm strong. Let me see if I pull it up here.
Joel 3.
Oh, it's Joel 3. Thwada.
Yeah, Joel 3 and 10.
Con, Thwada. All right, so this is Joel chapter 3, verse 10. It says, beat your plowshares into swords, right? And your pruning hooks into spears. And these are farming and agricultural tools. Okay, so we're going from good times of abundance in agricultural, farming, and everything to war. Everything is being geared towards war. That's the time we're in. Okay, and it says, let the weak say I am strong. Okay, and these nations that were so-called insignificant, starting with Iran, and basically no one really looked at Iran as a military force, right? It was more so of a place for resource in terms of oil, right? But as you see, they're more than just that. They have missile capabilities that are on a level to infiltrate, one of the best defense missile. The best defense missile system that's in the world, right? So that's sending a big message. Okay, it says, verse 11: assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathens, and gather yourselves together round about. And that's what you see happening. That's why the Most High is stirring up war. Okay, thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord Yahweh. Let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, right? Which Yahweh Shaphat, right, in the Hebrew, which means it's the valley of the place of judgment, the Most High's judgment. All this is going to lead to that, and that place is over there in the Persian Gulf. Okay, so for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, and that's going to be World War III. But again, before all that, the MOTV has to be implemented throughout the four corners of the earth.
God.
So let's go back here. Now I'm going to skip up a little bit.
Bring up as much as I can the following reality. No American president in modern era has won election by turning his back on Israel. No Israeli prime minister has stayed in office by turning his back on the United States. And right now you have a situation where Joe Biden, because of the outlandish behavior of Israel, is starting to turn his back. He made it clear that America would not stand side by side with Israel and attack Iran. And we have a prime minister in Israel that's telling the president of the United States, I don't care what you say, I don't care what you do. We're going to behave this way anyways. The motivations of both men are inherently political. Joe Biden is running for re-election election, and he can't have another war. He can't have a war with Iran. That would create a serious security crisis. Again, I remind your audience, under Biden's leadership, the strategic control of the United States is down to less than 17 days. That's a little over 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, of economic viability should Iran shut the Strait of Hormuz and start launching attacks against critical oil-producing infrastructure in the region, which would around the warhead and create multiple.
Is a banana a metabolism booster or a killer? I just heard the truth from this guy and my mind was blown.
This
Targets that overwhelm the system while the warhead itself maneuvers in and strikes the target. So Iran was developing this. What we saw on the 14th was Iran fired missiles that broke through the most sophisticated air defense system in the world and touched Nevatim. It touched it in a way that the people understood that they had been touched. They struck the runway in 2 spots, center mass, taking that runway out. Now, if they'd come in and hit it with 20 missiles up and down the runway, they would have taken it out permanently. They didn't do that. They just said, we hit this runway anytime we want to. They hit a warehouse. They hit 3 other facilities, center mass, meaning they didn't miss their target. They also struck air defense systems. For instance, at least 2 Iron Domes were taken out. Israel won't talk about this, but you see the evidence. You see the Iron Dome missiles firing. These are the missiles that I talked about that shoot out the decoys. You see them coming in. They shoot the decoys. The Iron Dome gets saturated, saturates the decoys. Meanwhile, the maneuvering warhead comes in. And at the last second, you can see on the video where the warhead tips up, comes in for the final attack, hitting it direct. Iran has sent a signal to the United States and to Israel that your missiles don't work. Hit any place, any time, with as much firepower as we want. We don't have to do it this time because all we're doing is setting a deterrence posture. We're letting you know that if you ever attack us again, we will strike you and you can't stop us. That's the most important aspect about this. The most heavily space on Earth. In terms of
You've seen that what he said earlier, because ultimately all this is going to lead to the destruction of America, right? Because as he said, Biden, you see, and you know, even China and some of these other nations are telling this guy, the leader of Israel, Benjamin, not a Jew, telling him that, yo, you need to chill out. Like this is getting too crazy, right? Even Biden, you know, is telling him to chill out, but because Esau is a man of blood, blood is nothing in his sight. Let's get that. Blood is nothing in his sight. All right, and the Most High is fulfilling prophecy. This man's going to keep going, and as he keeps going, this is going to lead America to back up Israel as they are allied in his sight. If they are an ally, which will lead to America being attacked. Okay. So basically, you know, Israel's just forcing the hand of America, okay, to get involved in something that they don't really want to get involved in. But that's because of prophecy. Advise and the pressure show their blood in sight. See if I pull it up here on Google real quick. I'll play this guy a little bit more and then I'm gonna pull up that precept.
I do have a precept though for something that he mentioned.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
About the Iron Dome.
Yep.
It's Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 3. Because that Iron Dome is a defense, right? Which is a brigandine. Which the word brigandine is an old English word for armor. And that's what the scripture talks about. So this is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 3, and it says, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. And you know, that word brigandine can link with the Iron Dome that Israel has, but also this is talking about Babylon being destroyed. But I just thought to bring this precept out just to compare it to what Israel has in this day and age, this modern time that we're living in. That's right. They trust heavily in that Iron Dome. But just like what the guy said in the little clip here, he said that we shot those missiles on you to let you know that, hey, whatever we shoot on you, it will go through and you will be destroyed. Right? So that's prophecy. That's going to happen. It doesn't matter. Your missile defense system won't save you in these last days. And that's because when you go into the precept, Hebrews 1:7, it says, and the angels, he saith, who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire. So the angel, the spirit of the Lord, is going to be in those missiles to destroy Babylon, to destroy Israel, or wherever he wants to be destroyed, right? So that was just a quick precept to back that guy up in that.
Let me see, get that.
I found that precept here. I'm going to get that real quick.
15:29.
Because this guy, you know, the Most High has a special spirit on Benjamin, not a Jew, you know? He has a special spirit on him, and that spirit is the spirit of war, because he's an Edomite at the end of the day. And these Edomites, they're created. They were created as the Most High's basically whooping stick on the left hand side. Okay, he's a man of war. So, is it Sirach 8? Sirach 8. Oh, here. From 8 and 16. Yeah, Sirach 8 and 16. It says, strive not with an angry man, that's what that man is. He's an angry man, and go not with him into a solitary place. For, and this is the point, for blood is nothing in his sight. Okay, and where there is no help, he will overthrow thee. Okay, and basically the main point is blood is nothing in his sight. So I hope they retaliate. Man, because this is all going to be, this is all fanners. This is what Yahushua is fanning war among the nations.
That's right. I gotta.
Go ahead.
Feel like I gotta quick present once you double back.
Go ahead. I'm done.
Jeremiah 50 and 29, and it reads in the NLT, send out a call for archers to come to Babylon, surround the city so none can escape. Do to her as she has done to others, for she has defiled the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel. So we see with those what happening to Israel, those missiles that was sent to Israel from Iran is the same way it's going to happen to Babylon, which is America, right? But it's going to be times 1,000, right? It's not going to be just a few. It's going to be 1,000 missiles jumping into this place.
That's right. Yeah, because these are just small time. Yeah, these are just small time missiles compared to nuclear missiles. What you're seeing is just small time missiles. These are toys. A nuclear missile is on a whole different level, man. That can wipe out a whole continent.
And those missiles, they have different. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What were you saying, brother?
No, those missiles, they have warheads, 5 or 6, so they have multiples.
Right.
So the impact is greater than the missiles that they're sending right now.
Right.
Yeah. Those.
Okay, but just going into Brother Amos' point about he's a man of war, because late last year, back in October, Netanyahu, he made a statement and said that pretty much defeating Hamas will make prophecy of Isaiah 60 a reality. So he's saying, he's letting you know, look, man, I'm ready to go to war and fight and fulfill prophecy. But we know in Scripture that prophecy doesn't pertain to those gutter rats that are living over there. That pertains to us getting the kingdom of heaven, the Israelites. So I just wanted to bring that point out, because it's true. He is a man of war, and he's not afraid of it. He loves blood.
That's right.
And he'll even twist prophecy just to get people to go along with his bullshit or his shenanigans. Right?
Yes.
So
yeah, it's true. It's very true.
Yeah. Beautiful point. I just want to say real quick on this character, Netanyahu. One of his famous quotes is, when the crisis, there was a crisis between Iran and Israel, and they had a little short guy in there for Iran, whose mother was a Jew, but his father is Iranian. Anyway, the point is, he said, his famous quote is, remember what happened 500 years ago? Okay, that was going back to that war. That's why I'm looking for the quote, right? And nothing really happened on a scale, okay? But now, Lord willing, it's a time, man. It's Lord willing, it's a time, and we're getting close to that time, because it's breeding war. But I'm looking for not necessarily his quote, but who was in power. It's a little short guy. I think his name is Aminejad or something like that. I can't remember. But his mother was a so-called Jew, and his father was Iranian, going back to one of the Arab nations. And so Netanyahu's famous quote against him and against what was going on in America and the world was, remember 500 years ago. Okay, so I'll look that up and get back to you. Just wanted to say that this guy's bloody and he's playing his role. Yeah, go ahead.
Anti-ballistic missile capability. It's the most important aspect about this. The most heavily defended space on the earth in terms of anti-ballistic missile capability was struck successfully by the Iranians using the very missiles that this system was designed to defeat.
And I guess when I say devastating, I mean metaphorically, because to me that is how devastating this is, right? You're sending this clear message. We're not gonna wipe out the entire runway. And I know from Israeli sources that they've already got a truck over there. They already patched the runway. So yeah, it was to show you we can hit you and you can't stop us. And that is devastating when we hear about the Iron Dome and the great capabilities of all of this. So Scott, I'll get you out of here on this. We talk about the sort of political posturing, the narcissism of both of these leaders right now. What do you think is going to happen over the next 48 hours? Or if anything, you think that there will be?
There's one simple vision hack anyone can use to improve vision. So you can say goodbye to your optometrist for good. Did you?
Why not get the spirit? That's what will give you the vision. Why not get the eyesight from the Lord? That will give you the vision.
But he can't have it. Wow.
Predictive analysis, because desperation is irrational. Most predictive analysis is drawn from rational, logical, analysis. Let me make it clear. Israel.
And I'm playing this section because he basically goes into how he actually doesn't understand. He doesn't know what's going to happen next. And that's beautiful, because that made me think about how all these different, I guess, I don't know, like these respected persons, these people who are looked at as prophets, really, just on the left-hand side. People rely on a man like this to explain what might come next out of the event that just happened. Yeah. And he says, I don't know, which is beautiful, because this is just going to lead to the glorification of the elect, starting with the prophets, in the name of Yahweh Shem Shai. Because as we have been prophesying, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, about the events that are taking place now and the events that will take place, you're only going to have to, everybody's going to have to turn to one thing. And it's like, this is the prophecies that these men, these Israelites, that have been speaking about. Because even these guys, in that day, when this escalates, as we get into Jacob's trouble, right, famine of the word, the scripture tell you that people are going to be searching for the truth. They're going to be looking for prophets and looking for the truth. Why? Because everything the prophets spoke about before these things were taking place ended up happening. Okay.
We get there.
Cannot successfully attack Iran by itself. Israel has a handful of Jericho missiles that it can fire and they can reach Iran. But the Iranian nuclear capability, because that seems to be the principal target, is very well dug in and has been dispersed in a way that can't be taken out in a single strike. Israel.
Oh, beautiful precept. I got to get these two precepts off the common board. This is from Brother Requai, flowing brook, Slake. So it says, Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So what you see happening between these leaders and these nations warring against each other and boasting against each other, it's all the Lord. It's all Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay. Now, next precept here, this is 1 Corinthians 1:27. It says, but Yahweh hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. Beautiful, right? Because we're looked at, what we're doing, right, it seems foolish to the world.
Gone.
Out there in the highways and byways in sackcloth garments, talking about things that people, basically, we're in the stead of Noah. Noah was talking about rain when that kind of stuff, when that never happened before. We're talking about things that have never came to this world before. This society before, that have never happened to America before. And people are looking at us like, you guys are bugged out. You guys are bums. Get a job. What are you talking about? Right? But when you look at the wise of this world, right, as you're going to hear from this man's mouth, the wise of this world, they're going to get to a point where they're, even themselves, they're going to be like, we don't know what to do. We don't have the answers for you. This is beyond us. This is divine. Right? And as it says here, and Yahweh has chosen the weak things of this world, which is the prophets, the elect, starting with the prophets, 144, to confound the things which are mighty. And that goes all the way up to the bankers, man. What we're doing, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone on down, is actually confounding the mighty of this world, the principalities of this world, the rulers of this world, which are the bankers. right? Because how much money and effort and energy have they spent, okay, in deceiving the whole world and hiding this truth from us?
Gone.
Right? But because of the pride of their heart, they didn't understand that the Most High is the one who's in control. The Most High gave you a time limit to deceive the world because you're fulfilling his prophecy, his way, his word. Okay? But it was also prophecy that we would wake up, that there would be a remnant that would turn back to the Heavenly Father, all right, in the latter days, and actually condemn you for your wickedness. So let's go back here.
We could launch a few of these Jerichos. Israel could try and get some of its F-35Is over Iranian airspace. But the danger here is the F-35 in itself is a deterrent. The mere fact that Israel has F-35Is is meant to deter people from doing things. If Israel projects F-35Is into Iranian airspace, there's a very good chance that a significant number of these fighters will be lost, be shot down, pilots captured, or killed. And the myth of the invulnerability of the F-35 will have been broken. And that's not good for Israel, and that's not good for the United States. And so I believe the United States is telling Israel that we aren't going to be.
It all falls back to Babylon, man.
Therefore, you're not going to get the refueling aircraft that you think you're going to get. You're not going to get clearance over Saudi Arabia or Turkey. You're going to be going it alone, overflying Jordan, overflying Iraq in a very predictable route. The Iranians are going to be there waiting for you, and then they're going to come in, and it's going to be hammer time in Israel. There's nothing we can do to help you. We can't stop the Iranians from attacking you, and the next time they attack, they're going to kill you, all of you. It'll be very bad for Israel. Politicians often like say, well, you're bluffing. You're bluffing. They'll never do that. You'll never abandon us. You'll be compelled to come in. I don't know what's driving these Israeli politicians. If it was genuinely,
you see, he said, I don't know what's driving these Israeli politicians. But the precept just came out, right? What was the precept? Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. This is divine what's happening. As the rivers of water, he turneth it wherever so he will. So obviously, you know, these guys can't see what's going on because they don't have the eyesight to see what's going on.
That's right.
But the prophets do.
The
and that's why I said,
no, I was going to say the deceived and the deceiver are his. Go ahead, brother.
Right. No, I'm just going to say that's why it's going to lead to this is ultimately going to lead to the glorification of the prophets. All right, in the name of Yahweh Shem Shai.
I have a quick precept just to go along with what brothers are talking about. If you could pull up Revelation chapter 7, verse 1, and the point will be made in verse 3. Since you mentioned that the Lord has control over the minds of the kings of the earth, that precept was brought out. Just more proof on that. So this is Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And pretty much that wind is going into destroying wind that comes off of the thermonuclear missiles, ICBM, destruction. Verse 7, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power, Yahweh Shem Shai, in their foreheads. So pretty much these angels, these 4 angels, they're doing a very special work in terms of holding back the destroying winds. And that goes hand in hand with how they're actually making sure to let these leaders not destroy each other right now, because it's really for the elect's sake. The elect has to be sealed, and they have to hear this word, and pretty much the word has to be distributed around the whole world, right? So that's just something to add to what Brother Raquai Flowing Brook brought out, right, with that precept.
That's right. Beautiful. So let's finish this up here, and I got one more clip.
The national security of Israel, that they call it a day and just, set back and maybe start carrying out more aggressive proxy, hybrid warfare against Iran. That's what I would do if I were the Israelis. But these are desperate people who understand that if Netanyahu goes down, they lose their governing coalition, this far right wing part of the political spectrum. They'll never govern again. It'll be over for them. And so they're desperate to hold on to power. And right now, the posture of being prepared to strike Iran, they deem to be the most domestically political viable posture for them. So this is very dangerous. I have to tell you that I don't know what the future is. Normally, I like to give you a bold prediction, but right now I can't, and I'm actually scared because the consequences is in America. Look, I mean, I believe in humanity. I don't want harm to anybody, But if Israel and Iran want to slit their respective throats, that's their business. We, as Americans, step in and say, we don't think this is a good idea. We think this is bad policy, etc. But if at the end of the day you want to do that, that's your business. But as an American, the consequences that will accrue, the detrimental consequences that will accrue to my country, my people, my nation, will be horrific. And it won't be a nuclear war for us, but it might as well be, because the economic collapse that will happen when we don't have the fuel. When we have, do you remember that strike in Long Beach, California, when the trucks weren't getting out and what was happening in the American economy?
Okay, so let's get this precept. Oh, the elder just put this one. This is a good one too. This is from GMS History of Yaquab. It's the elders here. It said Ecclesiastes. This is Ecclesiastes 3:17. It says, "I said in my heart, Yahweh shall judge the righteous and the wicked." See? For there is a time for every purpose and for every work. Yep, exactly, man. And we're in that time of judgment, man. We're in that time of judgment. As you can see, everything that's happening around us, man, it's just judgment, right? So what does the scriptures say? The scriptures say, if, let me see if I can pull that up. If the wicked be judged, how much more us? If we don't, what's that precept? See, I'll pull it up here. More us. And, this is, as we see these things happening, I can't really find it, but Lord willing will come to me. But my point is basically based upon that precept, as we see these things happen, we're in the time of judgment. We also have to buckle up ourselves too. We have to buckle up ourselves too, because we're getting closer and closer to that great time of testing, which is the MOTB. Now that also means we're getting closer and closer to the doors of grace being closed. You see, a lot of Israelites are going to try to get right with the Most High, okay, when it's too late. They're going to try to, and that's why the scriptures say, I got to bring it out. Has truth come across you? Have you found the truth? But at that time, it would be too late, because the Most High was stretching out His hand daily, okay, for decades. All right, starting with the elders or the apostles and elders on down. Let's see. I don't know the second Ezra slide here. The second Ezra chapter 5, verse. I could probably start at 8. Actually, it says second Ezra chapter 5, verse 8. There shall be confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and mistress women shall bring forth monsters, and the waters shall be found in sweet. All friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself. Right? That's the prophets. Okay, wisdom. Wit is short for wisdom. It's coming. That is going to hide us. The prophets. We're not going to be prophesying when all hell breaks loose, man. We're looking to be saved.
The ultimate famine of the word. Good.
Yeah. And it says, understanding withdraw itself into its secret chamber, and shall be sought of many. You see, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency, which means basically it basically means to not have any self-control. So people are going to lose self-control more and more, as you're seeing, and they're just going to be rampant, doing whatever they want, man. That's basically anarchy. Be multiplied upon the earth. One land also shall ask another, and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone to me? And it shall say no. At that same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper, man. Right? Because this is how you find salvation and mercy, okay, in the time of the Lord's judgment. Is what we're doing right now, right? You teach the word, right, in truth and sincerity, and you live your life out in integrity, in servitude to Yahweh Shemel Shai, right, in the hopes that you receive mercy in His judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So now,
scripture says they shall.
Go ahead.
Salakia, yeah. Scripture says they shall faint of thirst. Right. Just lambacking that, you know, they shall be saying, has righteousness gone through here, and they shall say no, right? Because they're gonna be looking for the truth. They're gonna be looking for answers.
Man.
True.
And they're fainting right now, as you heard that guy say. Like,
yeah.
I have a quick precept. If I may, I have a quick precept.
Come.
It's Isaiah chapter 47, verse 12. I'll wait till you pull it up once they see it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So it says here, this is Isaiah chapter 47, verse 12. It says, "Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail." That's right. So you've been prevailing all this time with your witchcraft, with all the stuff that you've been doing on the left-hand side to get the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so you can prosper in this life, right? So is it going to work for you now in these last days when Yahushua comes back, or when he's getting ready to come back, right? Is it going to work? Verse 13, "Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels." That's right, because, you know, you've been doing it on and on and on and on. You're wearied. You know, all these demons, you tapping into that energy, it's running out, right? You're on reserves right now. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. And that guy is nothing but one of those prognosticators, right? Those guys. Even though he's claimed to have a degree, he went to school, he studied economics, he did all these things. But remember who he's working for. He's working for the enemy. And who's the enemy? The spiritual demon, Satan, and the elites. So he's really working for them, controlled opposition. So these guys, they're not going to have answers for you in these last days. Doesn't matter how much Ouija boards you bring out. Doesn't matter how much goats you sacrifice. It ain't going to work, because it's the time of the Lord. It's His time.
That's right.
No bomb for the pain. No bomb.
That's right.
Right, and they're on the record of firing up their CERN.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny that this started happening after the eclipse. See, you know, so hey man, as soon as the eclipse happened, boom, what did we see? War. You know, we see rumors of war, fanners. You know, so that was a sign. You know, that's what that was. You know, obviously, the majority of Israel and the heathens were dismayed by it and entertained by it, but it was a sign.
That's right.
That was it on that.
Yep, that was it.
Go ahead, Shema.
Mark chapter 13, verse 35.
Go ahead, Ak.
Matter of fact, I'll read from 34. Red letter, and it reads, "For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh." Right? And it's the elect that are watching, you know, occupied in prophecies, measuring the time diligently. Right? The master of the house being Yahushua. At evening, or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. Right? And the 2/3 of our people, along with these heathen nations, they're bugged out there. Right? And when the Lord returns, they'll be asleep.
That's right.
You know, they're not gonna know what to do. They're gonna give up the spirit. They're just gonna wail. Right?
That's right.
And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. Right? And we know, you know, like the brother said a short two scriptures ago, that the elect are watching. And how are they watching? By throwing up these epistles, making our bodies a living sacrifice. You know, meanwhile, everybody out here is trying to keep up with the Joneses. Purchase what's those Google glasses?
The Apple, the Apple.
Yeah, these people are bugged out. They're getting ready for the C hip. They want to afford in this society. You know,
worried about Diddy.
Yep. Yeah, man. These bugged out chicks, all they can talk about is Diddy.
Brother. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, I was just chuckling because that's a powerful point, brother. They will have those glasses on when shit hits the fan.
Yep. That's right.
Go ahead. Slocky, go ahead, man.
Delta Nadak?
Yeah, that's it on it.
Let me get this real quick. This is Luke, chapter 12, verse 49. I'm getting an NLT real quick, just to show you, as we all know and should know, things are just gonna, everything that's happening, the events that are happening are just gonna get hotter and hotter, more evil and evil, and more wicked. Okay, because Yahushua wants it to be that way. That's what he said. That's what he said from his own mouth. He said, here, I'm going to get an NLT, Luke 12 and 49. And it reads, I have come to set the world on fire. See? And I wish it were already burning. So just, hey, you think you can't wait. We think we can't wait to get the hell out of here. Yahushua can't wait to get down here and bust this place up. He can't wait, man. He's just waiting for the Heavenly Father to give him the go ahead. You see, because even Yahushua doesn't know the time when the Heavenly Father has set his mind to let him come down here and basically set this place on fire, man. It says here, I have a terrible baptism of suffering ahead of me. This is when he was on earth, of course. And I am under a heavy burden until it's accomplished. And the elect, starting with 144,000, we're in the same stead. As these things happen, we still have to maintain our own baptism. Okay, we have to maintain a spiritual baptism, a baptism of the mind, of the spirit, and we have to bear our cross to the very end. But you have a lot of Israelites that are looking at these events that are taking place, and they're hopping and hollering and getting excited as if we're going to get out of here the next week. There's still things that have to play out, man. And that's how you know they're not prophets of the Lord on the right-hand side. You see, they're false prophets because you're not following the prophecies in order.
That's right.
All right, so I'm going to play a little bit of this next clip here, and then we'll got another precept, and we'll keep them on here.
Moment as we watch right now the collapse. This is a tipping point moment as we watch right now the collapse of Western hegemony, thanks to President Biden and his deep state puppets. Overnight, Iran retaliated last night, literally getting involved in a war in the Middle East, right alongside the British and the Israelis to shoot down drones over Israel. President Biden cut short his 50th vacation of the year to come back to Washington to order the U.S. response in the Situation Room. So it's a mess. And for the last few days, the world has been on red alert, watching and waiting all around Iran. So while the Western media was distracted by the death of a murderer late last week, something huge happened in Russia that no one, and I mean no one, covered in the mainstream press. President Putin told the world exactly how things are about to play out with NATO's proxy war in Ukraine. And buckle up, because it's a
Right, because Putin is allied with, Russia is allied with Iran. Okay, and according to prophecy, it would be the Medes, right, which is Russia, that would ultimately destroy America with or shoot missiles, I should say, nuclear missiles to Babylon, which is America. But you're also going to get Yahushua chariots, right, and the hosts of heaven with the angels that are also going to come down and add more destruction to America.
Devastating blow to the United States, to NATO, and to Western power elites like World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab, who wanted to use Ukraine as a staging ground for all of their tests, like 15-minute cities, digital IDs. That's all about to go up in smoke, and somewhere Klaus Schwab is crying. So we'll get there in a moment. But first, Western governments are going into lockdown mode right now over what's happening in the Middle East. Just a short time ago, President Biden told Iran, do not attack Israel. directly involved, like we he would. As U.S. Marine Scott Ritter told us on Friday, this is going to be big, and he was 100% correct.
So there's going to be a retaliation. 100%. The question is, will this retaliation escalate to general war? We know the United States doesn't want to fight a general war with Iran. The reason why the Obama administration signed off on the Iran nuclear deal in 2015 is that the only option we had, if we didn't capitulate on our terms regarding Iran's nuclear program, was a war that we could not win. Every president since Obama has recognized that we cannot win a war against Iran. So,
right, because I think Kabar Allah, you had mentioned earlier that these starting with the bankers, top wicked elite, your access to these demons on the left hand side that was giving you your power, okay, is being tapped out, right? Because they're getting their orders from the Most High, right? So all these wars you were partaking of, and you would go into these countries and steal their resources and bomb these different nations, like with the atomic bomb and all that. These demons were working with you for you to fulfill these things. You see?
Mm-hmm.
And these demons are the same demons that were there with the Babylonian Empire, that were there with the Assyrian Empire, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, all the other empires that came before America. These are the same demons that were there before, okay? And now, because they get the orders from the Most High, ultimately, when the Most High tells them, okay, cut off the access with these Edomites, that's exactly what happens. And that is what causes these bankers, okay, to scramble, these top wicked elites to scramble. That's why the scriptures say what? Because he knows he has a short time. How does he know he has a short time? He knows because he understands prophecy. According to the scriptures, he knows, okay, you know what? When these guys start to wake up and this happens and that happens, that means Yahushua is coming. Yahushua's return is right around the corner. So guess what? Before I get my ass taken up by Yahushua, I'm coming down with great wrath.
Oh, Scott was correct on that, and he tweeted just this morning, Ben Gurion Airport in Israel has resumed normal operations. There will be no Israeli response. This crisis is over. Meanwhile, all of Biden's meddling in the Middle East is pushing oil prices through the roof once again. Get ready to pay a crap ton of gas prices once again. Axios.
Right, and that's another thing, man, which is going to lead to the intensity of Jacob's trouble. War is costly on the economy, okay? It's very costly on the economy. You're going to see this summer, man, it's going to be a hot summer, man. Gas has already went up. Food is going to go up. Wages are going to stay low, and you're going to have, and then you have all these migrants roaming around, man. Right? So we'll see how the Lord sets it up, but basically it probably will end up in some kind of cyber attack or EMP attack where the whole economy, right, will be shut down. The global economy will be shut down. We'll see how the Most High lays it out.
Is calling it Biden's oil jeopardy. Why? Why is a liberal website calling it Biden's oil jeopardy? Because they can't pin this on Trump. This is all on Biden. Which
price hike?
Anyone with a
recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that
the Forrest Gump level IQ knew that was a lie. In fact, the opposite was true. Western sanctions, again, didn't hurt Russia. It drove prices in the United States and Europe through the roof. Costs for everything went up, but it was Putin's fault. They hope you believe it, but you're not stupid. And if Biden meddles in the Iranian-Israel war that's coming, Iran will shut down the Straits of Hormuz. A friendly reminder that the Straits of Hormuz is a 39.
Yeah, and this is, as I mentioned earlier, if right here you see the Persian Gulf, this is that Jehoshaphat. That's where the Most High is going to gather. He's going to gather, as you see, Saudi Arabia, Iraq. He's going to gather these nations over there, and the Euphrates River has been drying up for a decade now, so they can pass over. Okay.
Jehoshaphat, mountain of troops.
That's right.
Wide section of land, around 21 million barrels of oil, or 24% of the world's total oil consumption, passes through it each day, and oil prices will immediately.
Well, Slacky, I think I'm a God one. This mountain of troops.
Mountain of troops.
Jehoshaphat, Jehoshaphat is Valley of Decision.
The region.
Valley of Judgment.
The region and Valley of Decision.
That's right. That's right.
They hit $130 a barrel. Americans will see that immediately in their wallet. Perfect for an election year. So President Biden told us he was going to raid the strategic oil reserves to help lower your gas costs and combat inflation, he told us.
I led the world and other countries to join, coordinate the largest release of oil from our stockpiles of all the countries in history.
And inflation numbers came in much higher than expected this week, with the latest CPI numbers showing that inflation is getting worse, not better. Now the strategic oil reserve is virtually empty and inflation is going up. It was Biden's way of stopping Putin, and Biden is your friend. He's here to help you. Don't worry, we're going to refill the strategic oil reserves with no cost to taxpayers at all.
Today, I'm announcing and plan to refill the Strategic Petroleum Oil Reserve in the years ahead at a profit for taxpayers.
Today, the Biden administration announced that it's going to pull back its plans to refill the SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. You know, they drained that to try and bring gas prices down earlier. Well, they've been trying to fill it back up, but now it is way too expensive.
But of course, it wasn't.
Yeah, and it's because this devil's a liar, man. That's all he is. He's a liar, and he's a puppet, right? He has his orders. He has to think, and he has to fulfill, man. These guys don't give a shit because at the end of the day, the top wicked elites, the bankers, they want America done too.
Right.
That's right. They have it. Yeah, they want to reset. That's right. That's the perfect way of saying it. They want to reset.
They're just trying to do it their way, but the heart of the king is in the hand of the Jehovah Shem Yosai.
I got a quick precept, if I may. This is Jeremiah 50, verse 23. Because they keep mentioning hegemony. Due to Joe Biden and his policies and what he created, that's getting rid of the United States hegemony, which hegemony just simply means dominance or rulership, because that's what they are. They're dominating the whole world. But that's going to be taken away. So this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 23. And it says, "How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How was Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Most High." So, that's a question that is asked. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? And we know it's done through prophecy, through Yahweh Shem Yoshai. They were set up to rule for a period of time, and now their time is coming to an end. Right, so that hammer, them going around and destroying all the nations, is coming to an end, because they were the ones that ruled the nations in anger, and everybody's waking up to the fact that they're the bully, Israel's the bully, and we need to take them down. We all need to join hands, and it's true, because the whore that sitteth upon the beast, that beast is going to turn against her and shoot their arrows on Babylon. So that hammer, that power that they have, it's going to be taken away eventually. Only a matter of time, and it's starting with these policies that you see that these politicians are pushing, but it's going to get physical when these nations attack Babylon. So that's it. That's all I got.
That's right. Con, we'll pull this up here. Jeremiah 51:1. It says in the NLT, "This is what the Lord Yahweh says: I will stir up a destroyer against Babylon and the people of Babylonia." And that's why that guy said, as an American, I'm afraid. Because they understand that, how involved they are in terms of what Israel's doing. Okay. And right now, Benjamin not a Jew, he's looking like a madman. He's not going to stop. He's not going to stop, man. Verse 2, it says, "Foreigners will come and winnow her," right? Winnow, which is what? Blowing wind to the flame, right? When you have a fire, when you start a fire, it doesn't start big. It starts small, right? You start with little logs, okay? And then you have to give it oxygen. You have to blow it. You have to give it more oxygen. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So all these wars and rumors of wars are an example of that, to the point where that fire gets to a certain extent where you can't put it out simply with you can't put it out with a bucket of water. See, it's going to be way too big. That turns into a forest fire. And then later on into a world fire. And Yahweh Shai said, I wish this place was already on fire. You see? It says, foreigners will come and winnow her, blowing her away as chaff. They will come from every side to rise against her in her day of trouble. And that day is coming, man. Everything that you see happening is connected to that day of trouble for Babylon, okay, which is America, but also the Jacob's trouble. Okay, it says, "Don't let the archers put on their armor or draw their bows. Don't spare even her best soldiers. Let her army be completely destroyed." So you have to really think in your mind, man. Like, the Most High is going to put like a really warlike spirit on these other nations to completely do away with America, demolish America, man. As the prophecies say, that Babylon will be a desert that will be inhabited with all types of different animals and unclean birds and whatnot. Before it says they will fall dead of the Babylonians, slashed to death in her streets. For the Lord Yahweh of heaven's armies has not abandoned Israel and Judah. He is still their power, even though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. And right now that land is completely filled with sin, right? Because it is who's in that land? The Edomites. And that land, Israel is going to get hit too. It has to be cleansed. You see? And Israel and Judah that the Most High has not abandoned is really the elect, starting with 144,000. It says here, flee from Babylon, and that's what you have tons of people, okay, fleeing from Babylon, man. You got people because of what's going on with Iran and Israel. You got doctors fleeing from Babylon. You got lawyers. You got all and that hurts the economy, man. People with lots of money are fleeing Babylon because they're afraid of the pending doom that's coming to Babylon. Okay,
that's right.
Flee from Babylon. Flee from Babylon. Save yourselves. Don't get trapped in her punishment. It is the Lord, and this is also goes for the Israelites in Babylon, right? The men and women because Revelation 18 talks about we're fleeing from Babylon as well, but that's
come out of her. Yeah, come out of her. Yep,
that's right. Come out of her. That's a mentality. So our mindset is what is of the kingdom of heaven, not of this world, like the rest of Israel. Flee from Babylon. Save yourselves. Don't get trapped in her punishment. It is the Lord's time, Yahweh Shema Shai's time for vengeance.
Yes, sir.
He will repay her in full. See, Babylon has been a gold cup in the Lord's hand, in Yahweh's hand, a cup that made the whole earth drunk. The nations drank Babylon's wine, and it drove them all mad. But suddenly Babylon too has fallen. Weep for her, give her medicine. Perhaps she can yet be healed. And the Lord's being facetious, right? Because she's not going to be healed, man.
Take the juice.
We would have helped her if we could. Right? And that's exactly what that guy was saying about that Biden was I guess expressing to Benjamin out of Judah. He was saying, like, listen, man, if you go in and get into this war with Iran, you're gonna get destroyed. You see, like Iran, it's not just some small time nation anymore.
No,
and when you look at Iran's square footage, right, as a landmass, Iran is 30 times bigger than Israel. So if Israel sent 50 missiles to Iran and Iran sent 50 missiles to Israel, who would be more saturated with the destruction of the missiles, Iran or Israel? Israel would be. So Iran has already showed that we can pop in and pop out whenever we want. You can't just come in and mess with us and think we're not going to do anything about it. So, but suddenly Babylon too has fallen. Weep for her. Oh no, Slacky, verse 9 says we would have helped.
Slacky, brother, just to add to verse 8, because
okay.
That also goes into fiscal policies and austerity measures, which controlling the spending of the government. Because if they were to go to war, it's just more debt. They're already in a $34 million debt. So why would you want to go to war? It's more taxation. It's more of a burden on the country and the people.
That's right.
Even though they can't fix Babylon because they can't reduce spending, they can't come up with more policies because it's done. They've spent too much, right? They took away the gold standard. So they just have to keep printing money and money and money, more money until
money. Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man. The Most High put them in a position where they have to destroy themselves to get out.
That's right, and beautiful. That's that what you just mentioned, and what is being read goes into exactly what Yahushua said in the term of perplexities. It goes back to their detonation, right?
That's
And the
right.
whole causes the whole. Excuse me. All of the levels of all of the levels of functioning, starting with the debt, is finished. There's no bomb for this. Anyway.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's a good point that Kabar brought up because, you know, when you go to war, it costs us a lot of money. You have to spend more money. And ultimately, that's going to lead to a decline of the economy, a crash of the economy, man.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where the height of Jacob's trouble will begin, right? And you already see, we're already seeing it all the way over here in Ontario. Crime rates are going up, car thefts are going up, breaking and entries going up. You know, cops are being stabbed. You know, the nation, people are taking matters into their own hands because why? The economy, the society is failing them. Why is it failing them? Because it was built upon lies. It was all an illusion. You know,
those federal reserve notes, are just pieces of paper with writing on it.
That's right. That's right. That's all it is.
Literally, you know.
And
this place is tanking, you know, and we have yet to see hyperinflation. Right now, we're in the stage of inflation. You know, hyperinflation is a different level, man. Like we see when we look into secular history, you see pictures and images of people with wheelbarrows full of paper notes and suitcases full of paper notes to try and purchase, you know, the smallest of things. Right.
Wow.
So this place is true.
100.
Khan, do you think migrants are gonna come in with barrels?
No.
Cash?
No.
Hell no. They're just gonna go and take what they want.
That's right.
Yeah. He's looking for the skids of or those barrels. For.
And the scriptures tell you that what they're gonna toss their gold and silver in the streets.
There you go.
Right, because all these different economists are telling everybody what, you know, get into gold, get into silver, but gold is like 2,000 an ounce right now.
Yep.
And it's projected to go double, 4,000 an ounce. You think people have $4,000 right now in this economy to get an ounce of gold? Why do that when I can? When Baltimore is telling me that if you call, for 911 between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., we can't answer. Well, why would I go and spend money that I don't have for gold if I can just go rob another person's house between these times and know that the police can't come and help them? You see what I'm saying? Like,
Brother Shema, you made a point about the wheelbarrows of money. You know, that goes back to Germany, going back to the Weimar Republic during the 1920s, the Roaring 20s. And funny thing, just the way how Germany was functioning back then is the same way how America is functioning in terms of how their morals, their ethics, the way they do things. During the Roaring 20s in Germany, they used to call that the Sin City of Europe, right? Which was Berlin. And what were they doing? All types of debauchery. Transgenderism was at an all-time high. Sex changes. That's the first place where they introduced sex changes. So they fell right after that. Then they went to a serious debt. So don't you think America is going to fall into debt for living that way?
That's
So all of it's repeating itself all over again, right?
That's right. Worse. Yeah, it's worse now than it was then. If I may say, it just worse means as in more activity.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be
It's right before your face.
That's right, man. So 2 more verses here. It says, verse 9: "We would have helped her if we could, but nothing can save her now. It's too late, man. There's no turning back.
Right.
Let her go. Abandon her. Return now to your own land." And that's what you see, man. Like there was pictures circling of airports being filled of people leaving. You see, and these are not just regular people. Some of them are regular people. Some of these are high level people, with a lot of money. You think that doesn't affect the economy? When you have like, imagine, you remember during the lockdowns where there was a shortage of nurses and doctors, right? And people couldn't get in and get any help or remedies for what they were going through. So what happens? We have a shortage of police, doctors, lawyers, all these things that run a society, an economy, right? It's left to the will of the people, and that's where you get anarchy, Jacob's trouble, man, martial law, all these things, really civil war. So it says here, return now to your own land, for her punishment reaches to the heavens. If so, it is so great it cannot be measured. Damn.
That's right. Wow.
That's really that's profound, because that just means that judgment is going to be like nothing we've ever seen before, and that's why this thing is based upon faith. The elect can see it in their eyes, mind, but even what we see can't be compared with the Most High is actually going to be what the Most High is actually going to bring down.
That's right.
That's why the scriptures say that the elect were frightened. Okay.
Yeah. Always have the fear of the Lord. He put that spirit in us anyway.
Yeah.
To fear Him, which is His treasure. Go ahead. Beautiful.
That's right. Verse 10. The Lord Yahweh has vindicated us. Come, let us announce in Jerusalem everything the Lord Yahweh our power has done. That's what we're doing.
Right.
Right. Let's look at the word vindicated actually in the etymology. Because
I think it means to avenge.
Avenge, eh?
Vindicate.
So vindicate, right? It says, yeah, you're right. To avenge, to revenge. That's right. To stake a claim, to liberate, to act as an avenger. And that's exactly what the Most High, all right, through His Son has done, all right, in a spiritual sense, for the elect by the way of this truth, giving us this truth, right? Because now we're standing up, as the scripture said. This is my last precept, actually. I'm going to get it in the second Ezra, or in the GNT. It's from the Apocrypha. We are in captivity, all right, telling our oppressors that they're going down. You know, that's heavy. In the ancient world, that's treason. Your head would be off your shoulders right away, right? But the Most High is in control of this thing right here. So, what is that? Oh no, it was Wisdom of Solomon. Actually, all these ads, man. I think Wisdom of Solomon 3, right? Standing great boldness.
5.
Yeah. Well, oh, that's 5. Let me just read 3 and 2, 1 to 2. But it says here, but the righteous people are protected by Yahweh, Bashim Yahshua, and will never suffer torment. It is a foolish mistake to think that righteous people die and that their death is a terrible evil. Yeah, Khan. Right? Because the scriptures also say that they would have thought that they did the Most High service by killing the elect, and that's really Jake, because they thought they were doing the same thing when they sent Yahweh Shai to his death. You know, but little did they know, you know, when Yahweh Shai comes back, they're basically gonna be held accountable to what they said back then. Let His blood be upon our heads and our children's heads.
Yeah,
Okay, so
selling him out, basically, crucifying him afresh, ultimately. All right, those wicked Israelites. Go ahead, Salaki, go ahead, finish your point.
No, it's a good point. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1, it says, on that day, someone righteous, full of confidence, will stand.
Beautiful.
And really, it's the right, will stand before those who oppressed him and made light of his labors. Right. And I think Apostle Hart brought that up. We're number 4 on the most hated on the hate group list. You know, it's just demonization. Number 6?
Yeah,
number 6.
Yeah.
Which is demonization of the prophets, man. That's all that's going into. Verse 2, it says, they will be amazed to see him safe and will tremble with terrible fear. Right? Because that's going to be a miracle. To see a man provided for, all right, safe, and protected and potentially, performing spiritual powers. That's going to be a miracle in the eyes of many people, especially Israel. That's why they're going to be amazed to see him safe, and that's because of the level of evil that's going to be on earth. Right? To see someone, to see a man constantly be fed and be protected and unharmed in the evil that the Lord is bringing on earth is going to be a miracle. That's why you have to be of the elect. Only the elect are gonna receive that kind of mercy in the Lord's judgment.
That's
so
right.
Then they will regret what they did, and groaning in anguish, they will say to each other, "This is the one we made fun of. We thought he was a joke. What fools we are. We thought he was crazy to live the way he did." Your family members, maybe your woman, friends in the world, right?
Yep.
And when he died, we didn't honor him. And now here he is, because some of the elect will die for this truth. Okay. And now here he is, one of Yahweh's own children, Yahweh Shemashai's own children, the place of his own among Yahweh Shemashai's people. Damn. That's it for me. That's my last precept.
Real quick, if you could, going into the title of the message today, right? The fanners. Excuse me. The precepts came out already. I think Jeremiah 51 and verse 2 goes into the fanners, right? Yeah. And we know that that's a powerful word in regards to that strange woman that comes in and is also there. When I say comes in regards to those people that are coming in as well right now, migrants, but it also has a moral woman, which is a strange fanner. All right. So if you could go to Proverbs real quick and read it from the NLT. The second chapter and the 16th verse, it's straightforward, right? The point there in the 16th verse, right? Going back to the word fanners and what it represents, as well as let me just make sure here. But before you read, I did mention some things about this Aminadab character, right? That could be fact checked about his mother's side, but I remember I followed that thing diligently, and I know I made a couple of videos on it. That was back in 2012 with the crisis between Iran and Israel. You don't have to go too far back with that, but just for folks out there, because I did say that his mother go back to some so-called Jew. But Iran, if you don't know, they have a strong so-called Jewish presence in there, okay? Where Amalek is in there. But as far as his mother goes, that was the information that came out on this guy when he was stepping back, and he's looking to run a game. So I'm just prefacing that to say it has to be fact checked in regards to who his mother is, but all those guys, all those niggas are in the same position anyway. They're wicked as hell for their purpose. So yeah, leave that alone. But anyway, Proverbs 2:16, and you might as well just go right to the end, brother, on the point. NLT.
So this is Proverbs 2:16. It says, "Wisdom will save you from the immoral woman."
Beautiful. So simply put, man, wisdom and knowledge is the stability of our times. This is what Solomon was going into. He says that this is the only thing that's going to get you out of there. You have to be led of the Spirit, and the hopeful elect is going to be led of the Spirit, because there's no way to resist this immoral woman other than you have the Spirit upon you, right? Which would be the exemption from judgment going into that. All right? Go ahead.
It says, "From the seductive words of the promiscuous woman."
Beautiful. So that's all our daughters when you go into it. Okay, all those religions, of course, starting with that, and literally the system over here, the Babylonian system. Okay, that constitute all those different religions.
True.
Okay.
That's why. Sorry to interrupt, Elder, but just to add on to your point, it said the whore that sitteth upon many waters, right? That's this woman, which is America, which she promotes. And it also says the mistress of harlots, going into the book of Nahum, I think. Listen to that. So that's true.
Right. So Solomon was prophesying. We know it's literal, and it's also, but main thing for us is that it's spiritual. Yep. Continue.
It says here, verse 18, entering her house leads to death. It is the road to the grave. The man who visits her is doomed. He will never reach the path of life.
Right. And that's a condition of Babylon, right? And the land over there in Israel, which is that promotes Babylon. I should say Babylon, Mystery Babylon promotes so-called Israel, the land where who dwells there.
Yeah, and that's also as it says here, but it says the man who visits her is doomed. He will never reach the path of life. And that's why the top echelons of I guess the wicked of our people, right, that have sold out.
Absolutely.
They're you can tell, man, they're empty. They're poor in spirit. The elect are poor in the world, which means we live day to day by daily bread, but we're not poor in the spirit.
Right.
Okay. It says, verse 20, follow the steps of good men instead, and stay on the path of righteousness. It starts with Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, that's true, because that's in 1 Peter 2:21. It says, Yahweh Shai suffered for us, leaving us an example, and you should follow in his steps. That's what the scriptures say. So yeah, that's really following Yahweh Shai. Just like what the brother just said.
That's right, man. That's right. Verse 20 says, follow the steps of a good man instead, and stay on the path of the righteous. For only the godly will live in the land, and those with integrity will remain in it. But the wicked will be removed from the land, and the treacherous will be uprooted.
That's right. And it's very simple and straightforward. Internalizing the land, we know it starts with, with the house of David, and it's also the literal land, right, that the Lord is going to cleanse, right? And he's cleansing the temple twice. If you could understand it, he's getting ready to flush out the shit that's over there, and he's also doing it spiritually to his elect. Okay. Verse 22.
It says, but the wicked will be removed from the land, and the treacherous will be uprooted. Yep.
Great for that's it. That's all I got there, bro.
Any other precepts?
No, I don't have any.
Okay. Beautiful, man. So that will be the lesson. All right. Fanners will be sent unto Babylon. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect, okay, of the nation of Israel. We're to close by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh. All right. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone who rule well and have taught us this word in truth and sincerity. And peace and mercy to the hopeful elect. Okay, starting with 144,000. That's pushing this word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. And the rest of the hopeful elect that sincerely believe, peace and mercy to you and your household. All right, Ababa Ball and Kwame Ashala and Shabbat Shalom to the hopeful elect.
Shalom.